In the last session, we have examined the various Panchanga parameters, namely the Navanayakas, the cloud numbers, the cloud types, and their relationship with the weather forecasting. We have seen the probable weather when each planet occupies the position of the Navanayakas, and the clouds types and their rain bearing capacity, and how the rain bearing capacity of these clouds are determined based on the lordship of the Meghadipati, and the Varshabhalas, how they are given in the Panchanga. Based on my own research, we have also correlated the actual rainfall in South Indian Peninsula to that of given in the Panchangam, and assessed the probability of the accuracy of the rainfall as given in the Panchangam. And we have seen that the trends of rainfall can be indicated by these various parameters. Although we need additional inputs to confirm the forecasts predicted by these parameters. So we will see the next set of inputs that we need, which are the Varsha Pravesha Lagna and the Ardra Pravesha Lagna. A Jatakam or a planetary chart is cast on the day of Sun's entry into Aries, the Sun's entry into Ardra Nakshatra, and the Sun's entry into Vrishabha and Vrishchika Rashis. And we have seen the various Samhitas in the previous lessons, what guidelines they have given during these occurrences of Sun's entry and the various planetary combinations which occur at that time can have a bearing on the rainfall in the coming season. So let us examine them now. Here I have shown you two sample charts. The sample charts are given for illustration purposes. A chart can be drawn at any point of time, as you know, like we are normally making a natal Jadakam or a natal birth chart for a human being. So at any given point of time, we can calculate the ascendant and the various planetary positions and place them on a chart. In the case of Jagat Lagna or Jagat Jataka, what we do is at the precise point of the entry of Sun into Mesha, we will cast a horoscope, and that horoscope will show the ascendant. The Sun, of course, will be in Aries because he has just entered Aries. He will be at 0 point some degree of Aries, and the various other planets placed in the chart like a Jatakam for a native. So this is done on the entry of Sun into Mesha Rashi or Aries. Same way we can make it into Vrishabha Rashi also, or the entry into Taurus. And here you can see there is ascendant and there is the Sun in Vrishabha Rashi, etc. Now you see, in the same way, at the precise moment of the sun entering Ardra Nakshatra, we can make a chart and its ascendant can be marked and the various planets can be marked. And the sun will be in Gemini, because it is entering in the Ardra Nakshatra. At the time of the Vrishchika Rashi entry, also we can cast another chart, which Varahamihira calls as the Sasya Jataka, or the oncoming crop horoscope. So these are the 4 charts which we use, and their planetary combination can be examined, and based on the Samhita teachings as well as our own correlation experience, historical data, we can predict the weather. Now I have already shown you in one of the previous lessons that the Panchangam exhibits the Jagad Lagna. Here in the Hrishikesh Panchangam, on the cover page itself, we can see that the Jagad Lagna is being exhibited. And on the Lagna is here, and the houses and their position is shown. The sun is in Aries, you can see here in the first Rashi. Sun, Buddha and Rahu are here. The 12th house is Guru, and so on. And it's here, it gives some for the particular Lagna born natives, but we are not interested at this point here. We are more interested in the worldly affairs in our session of weather prediction. Now, as I have done in the previous Panchangam parameter investigation, where I have correlated the data of 200 years rainfall in South Indian Peninsula with the Navanayakas and the clouds. Here, I have done the correlation of the 200 years rainfall with the Jagadagna relation of Jupiter, Saturn and Mars. My studies indicate that the Jupiter aspect on Jagat Lagna is predominant in excess rainfall years. Saturn and Mars related to the 4th house is significant in the deficient rain years. We have already seen in the Samhitas that Saturn Mars connected with Bhumi or the 4th house makes some dryness on the earth. Similarly, Jupiter is Vrishtikaraka, or he is the rain giver in the Bhumi. So his relation to 4th house and the Lagna is considered to be auspicious. Similarly, is the case with Venus, who is a watery planet. Now you can see here, this is the chart, a histogram, giving the position of the planets in Jagat Lagna and the 4th house during the excess rainfall years. So we have already seen the 200-year rainfall has been separated into 130 of approximately 130 years of normal rainfall, plus minus 10%, and around 35 years of excess and 35 years of deficient rainfall. So here, if you look at the chart here, Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, all of them, each of them either occupying the Lagna, aspecting the Lagna, occupying the 4th house, or aspecting the 4th house has been marked. How many number of years within the 35 has been marked here. So here you see Jupiter has aspect on the Lagna very large number of years. Mars has aspect on the Lagna less number of years. Saturn has got the aspect on Lagna for a certain number of years, but not as much as Jupiter. Rahu has no aspect on Lagna during the excess rainfall years. Mercury has very less rainfall occupation and aspect on the excess rainfall years. Sun also similarly. There is Sun, Mercury, Rahu, all these dry planets do not have much aspect on the Lagna. Jupiter has it. So Jupiter's aspect on the Lagna is giving you somewhat significant result, is what is our conclusion. So he has summarized that histogram here in words. In excess years, Jupiter had aspect on Jagat Lagna more than any other planet in 41% of cases. And Saturn has aspect in 30% cases. Saturn and Mars had aspect or Kendra position. That means the fourth position or fourth aspect. In more than 55% cases of the division rainfall. Jupiter and Rahu had aspect relation or Kendra relation in more than 60% cases of division rainfall. That means if Jupiter, Rahu are placed in mutual Kendras, there is great chance of getting division rainfall. If Saturn, Mars had their own position in Kendra or mutual Kendra position, there are 55% of chances of division rainfall. And for in Jupiter occupying the Lagna or aspecting the Lagna will give considerably good amount of chances of better rainfall. So the conclusion here is Jupiter's aspect on Lagna, Saturn aspect on the fourth house, Mars aspect on the fourth house, Jupiter Rahu mutual Kendra position, Saturn Mars mutual Kendra position makes an influence on the weather during the year. Now these four parameters, if you consider and then connect them with the Megha of the year and the Raja of the year and the Mantri of the year and the Meghadipati of the year and see what is the skew on their normal distribution. And like for example, if we have some Varuna Megha, good amount of rain falling Megha, and Venus being the Raja, and Jupiter also aspecting the Lagna, in such cases, the probability of good rainfall increases rather than one Raja planet alone or one cloud number alone, or even the case of Jupiter aspecting the Lagna alone. So Jupiter aspecting the Lagna together with the favorable cloud and favorable Raja Mantri can give us good rains, can be concluded. Or the vice versa is also true. Whenever there are Saturn or Mars as mantris or Saturn or Mars as Meghadipatis or Mercury being Meghadipati with Chandanadi, and then Saturn occupies the fourth house or Saturn aspects the fourth house or Saturn Mars has got a mutual Kendra position, in which case the possibility of rainfall becomes less in the country. So there is a correlation by 3 or 4 parameters together. Now we will see one more parameter which adds to the betterment of the possibility. Now there is an ardra pravesha, we know, at around 20th of June or so, something like this. Sun will enter the ardra star around the 8th or 9th of the Mithuna Rashi, Mithuna month. This is called the Tiruvadira Nyatuvela in Kerala, which is an important event for them in the transplantation of paddy. Now, in my study of 200 years of rainfall, at the time of solar ingress into Ardra star, Jupiter occupied a Lagna Kendra in 46% of cases in excess rainfall years. Jupiter occupied Lagna Kendra in 33% cases of normal rainfall years. But he was in a Lagna Kendra only in 15% cases of deficient years. So his position in Lagna Kendra is obviously indicating an normal or an excess rainfall. The possibility of a deficient rainfall when Jupiter is in a Lagna Kendra of Ardra Pravesha is very less. Now, if you look at this case with the Varsha Lagna or Jagat Lagna, where Jupiter has an aspect on Lagna, or Saturn doesn't have an aspect on the 4th house, and Jupiter occupies a Lagna Kendra in Ardra Pravesha, and also there is a favorable cloud, and also there is a favorable mantri, then plenty of rain will happen in that year. Similarly, the vice versa. Jupiter doesn't occupy a Lagna Kendra, Jupiter doesn't have an aspect on this thing, and the clouds are unfavorable, then the rainfall in that year will be less. Okay, in the excess rainfall years, Sun was behind Venus. Means Venus has already crossed. Venus was in the east. Venus has crossed the Sun. In normal rainfall years, Sun was behind Venus in 51% cases. So you see here, Venus ahead of Sun or Sun behind Venus is an indicator of normal or excess rainfall. Sun behind Mercury after Venus, which means it is between, Sun is between Mercury and Venus. It is showing for heavy rainfall years and normal years, this factor was less. We have seen in the Samhitas that Sun between Mercury and Venus causes less rainfall. So here you see the overall rainfall for heavy and normal years is less, much less than even 50% chance. Again, we have to use this together with Jagat Lagna and together with clouds and Raja Mantri, and correlate them all together to give a very good prediction of rainfall. Now we are seeing Rishabha Pravesha. In Rishabha Pravesha, you see Saturn occupied Scorpio, Rahu occupied Pisces. I have taken only slow moving planets here. There are plenty of possibilities of planetary movements and calculation. This is for a quick understanding. I am giving certain parameters which are easy to observe, but if you look at all the planetary parameters and all the pravesha lagnas, there is possibility of finding out very accurately how things can move in the sky. So Rahu occupying Meena Rashi, Saturn occupying Vrishchiga Rashi, Guru occupying Tula Rashi. These are, or Guru occupying Kumbha Rashi. These are seeming to be significant for deficient rain. Look at the excess rainfall years here. When excess rainfall happens, Saturn occupying Mithuna Rashi and Saturn occupying Makara Rashi and Saturn occupying Kumbha Rashi to a certain extent seems to be very significant. Saturn and Jupiter together in Kumbha Rashi is also creating excess rainfall. Although Jupiter in Kumbha Rashi alone is not giving so much of. So Saturn-Jupiter conjunction we have already seen. What is the effect in the Samhitas? So here you see these are all the various studies on based on actual rainfall years and the position of the planets during Vrishava Pravesha. So using ardra and Vrishava Pravesha, slow moving planets occupying certain specific rashis has some influence. Sun between Mercury and Venus can cause lower rainfall. Jupiter does not occupy a Kendra, it can cause deficient rainfall. Sun behind Venus can cause more than normal rainfall. So these are all the various factors which we conclude from all these charts. Now, Saturn placement, we have put some special note on this. In the Rashi Capricorn, 12 out of 14 years of normal rains was caused by Saturn. Similarly, 14 out of 18 years of normal or excess rainfall caused in Gemini. So these places where Saturn, when in transit, passes through these signs, it is likely to give more rains. Similarly, Saturn in Aquarius has caused deficient rains. In Taurus, 15 times. Therefore, in these three signs, the possibility of rains are less when in transit Saturn is moving. The Saturn transit is given very great importance in our Jyotisha, and you can see all the magazines and newspapers publishing Shani Charam or Shani Peyarchi. The Shani Peyarchi is significant for the world in terms of this rainfall and crop growth. But our newspapers and magazines are giving only for people how much they can earn or what job they can get or whether they can get married and things like this. They are not worried about the world as such. So here you see there is another possible combination which you have checked out. Rahu and Jupiter opposition occurs once in 7 years. You can see Rahu moves in a Rashi in about 1.5 years and it goes in the anti-clockwise direction. And Jupiter or Guru moves in the clockwise direction approximately 1 year per Rashi. So since they are going to have a differential speed as well as their differential direction, they will meet they will meet and they will oppose each other. That means they are in the mutually 7th Rashi once in 7 years. So if you see 200 years, there are possibility of 29 Rahu Jupiter opposition years. 30 times 7 becomes 210. So in 200 years, around 29, 28 to 29 years of Rahu Jupiter opposition years can have. Now, we have seen what are all the rainfall in these years. So what I have done is to again classify the division and into normal rainfall and then check the rainfall which segment this year falls. So we have seen all this from 1817 onwards. Here you see all the below zero lines are Rahu Jupiter opposition years, and there are a few plus years. Out of 29 years, 20 years were deficient rains. Only 9 years gave normal rains, which by any law of probability or any law of averages definitely says that Rahu, Jupiter opposed to each other in the planetary chart while in their transit in that year will definitely cause less rains. Now similarly, Guru and Shani, Saturn and Jupiter, they also go at different speeds. Saturn moves around 2.5 years in one Rashi. Jupiter moves only 1 year in a Rashi. So first when we start with the point where Saturn and Jupiter are together, within 1 year, Jupiter has crossed that Rashi. And in 2.5 years time, he has reached the third Rashi. Saturn is still in the same Rashi and he will slowly move to the next. So it's called a Manda because it's called very slowly moving planet. In fact, it's called a Shani itself because of that. Shani Charaha, very slowly moving planet. So he goes. So when the Jupiter now comes around once in 12 years, he reaches back the same Rashi where he has left. But now in 12 years time, approximately 5 Rashis has been crossed by Saturn. So he will not be able to catch up. So he will again chase Saturn behind. And in the 20th year, they will touch each other. Then they will go on again like this. And the 60th year, they will again come back together. So that is where some cycle is there, which we will see later. So once in 20 years, Jupiter and Saturn can come together. So since it happens in once in 20 years, 10 occurrences can happen in 200 years. So I have taken 200 years because I have collected data of rainfall for 200 years. So 200 years rainfall data, 10 times Jupiter and Saturn have come together. 8 out of 10 of these years created normal or above rainfall. This is the finding. And 3 years were deficient rainfall. In these 3 years also, we have seen Saturn and Jupiter were in the Astangada condition. So their efficiency was very, very low. Therefore, we see that Jupiter and Saturn, Guru and Shani together will have very significant effect on the rainfall. Guru and Shani, both peyarchis are listed in the papers and Panchangam everywhere. So Guru and Shani, peyarchi, you see how it is significant to the world. Here the histogram showing the graphical representation of what I told you in the last slide. In 1821, 1842, 1862, 1881, 1902, These are all the various rainfalls. And you see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 years. 8 years, this is all heavy rainfalls were there. And around 2 to 3, 4 years, there were deficient rainfalls. Now you see the significance. I have already explained to you about the Gocharam has got a significance for the country, the rainfall, the crop growth, the economics of the country, the well-being of the people, the wealth of the people. Everything is getting dependent on Gocharas or planetary movements. And not only their well-being, but the relationship between other countries also significantly changes. If you are an agrarian economy, you are a strong economy. Therefore, Panchanga Padanam was given a very great importance in the olden days. The Panchanga Padanam was being done on the first year of the new year. In the audience of kings, social leaders, ministers. Whenever the new year celebrations are on, people will go to the temple. Listen to the Panchanga Padanam. And in the Panchanga Padanam, the astrologer will give the various gocharas, the Shani peyarchi, Gurupeyarchi happening in that year, Rahu peyarchi happening in that year. Where are all those planets located? In which Rashi is located? And then you will see what are the Navanayakas of this year. What is the Jagat Lagna of this year? And based on the Jagat Lagna, what is the possibility of rainfall? Based on the Megha, what is the amount of rainfall? Based on the planetary gocharas, based on the planetary movements, their conjunction, their opposition, what is the rainfall? What are the crops, whether black crops or green crops or red crops will grow more? People and the kings and the social leaders, they will all listen to this. They will adopt their lifestyle to plant such crops or take precaution for protecting their crops from heavy rains or make irrigation facilities from the rivers or the lakes or protect the lakes because coming off to combat the oncoming deficient rain years. Or the kings will stock grains in the previous year itself to take care of a famine. These are the benefits being given, and the astrologer was a social worker. Basically, he was trying to help the society, the country, its economy by giving his astrological readings. Not for giving only to some rich person or somebody going to America, whether he will get a passport or a visa and all. This was not the job of the astrologer. The astrologer's job was to benefit the economy. In the present day, what is happening? The Panchanga Padanam is still being done. But some astrologer or some Pandit will sit there and read Raja, Mandri, Guru, Sukran and all these things, and then people will go away. They will show one Deepa Radhana and then distribute prasadam. People will eat the prasadam and go away. Nothing else is being given. So the knowledge of the Panchangam, the knowledge of the Gocharam during the year can all see, give a combination of a possibility or the probability of rainfall in the year, crop growth in the year, and be useful to the public. In the next subsequent classes, we will see some solar activity and their relations to planet, and how solar activity and modern methods combined together can make very good prediction of the weather. Thank you for watching and continue to watch in my subsequent lessons. Please like and subscribe my channel to get more and more insights into our ancient traditional astrological systems. Thank you.